Let's talk about Canadian prostitution. This is an item that is very high on Lewis's list of personal interests. BuzzFeed reporting that prostitution restrictions have been removed by the Canadian Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of Canada struck down the country's anti-prostitution laws a few days ago, lifting the ban on brothels, street solicitation, and other restrictions. The court said that the law unconstitutionally violates the safety of prostitutes. So here's the deal in Canada. Prostitution is technically legal as a thing, right? But the government had put in place and enforced a number of restrictions on the sex industry, which practically made it very difficult. It was difficult to run a brothel. Public solicitation was illegal, among other things. And now Chief Justice Beverly McLachlin wrote, Parliament has the power to regulate against nuisances, but not at the cost of public health, safety, and the lives of prostitutes. The prohibitions all heighten the risks. They do not merely impose conditions on how prostitutes operate. They go a critical step further, imposing dangerous conditions on prostitution. They prevent people engaged in a risky but legal activity from taking steps to protect themselves from the risk. There's going to be a year now before this goes into effect, where the country can figure out, the parliament can figure out, well, what other restrictions do we want to put in place here? This actually makes a lot of sense to me, Lewis, because in great part, it's the lack of legality and the lack of regulation that create a lot of the unsafe conditions and challenges with prostitution. You can have an ethical, moral opinion of prostitution, the idea of selling sex, even though in many other ways, sex is bought and sold every single day, just a little bit less directly and openly than actual prostitution. But if two adults agree to have consensual sex with each other in exchange for money, it's not trafficking, which is a totally different crime that remains illegal regardless of the legality of prostitution, Lewis. And if you have restrictions on prostitution, you make it so that if there is a violent attack from somebody who is procuring prostitution services, that victim can't even go to the police because they are already engaged in something that is a crime. I think that this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of this. I think this should happen here as well. It is this is the way it is in many European countries, and it works. You know what? It's taxable. It's safe. You just need to have the regulation and the oversight. And you know, I have no moral objection to this.